All right, just got seeing Proud Mary. Yes, I finally managed to go see this thing that I promised I'd say I was going to see. Um, yeah, sorry again about how late this is on this, but like I said, I noticed the commuter was coming out the same weekend, and I'm like, oh, poop. I put that in the opening title sequence, so I should probably do that one first. So, anyway, I would say Proud Mary comes across as a mixture of Leon the Professional and a '70s Pam Grier movie like Coffee or Foxy Brown or something in that aesthetic. Uh, Basically, I mean, it's got a nice, good soundtrack throughout much of it. A lot of early's. I don't know if I'd call it funk in the strictest sense of the term, early '70s funk, but early '70s soul music with a funky beat to it. I mean, the first song off is Papa Was a Rolling Stone, as you get this montage of the titular Mary, played by Tajiri P. Hansen, who is a hit woman as she carries out a hit on a man, only to realize that he has a child. And she has a strict no kids policy on that. She sort of kind of runs out of the apartment distraught after that. We jump ahead a year later, and that child, whose name is Danny, is kind of working as a low-level drug runner for the Russian mafia. After a deal doesn't quite go south, but he sort of cheats a little bit on it. He takes some of the money and spends it on lunch. His sort of, let's just say boss for the strictest sense of the term, named Uncle, beats him up, and after that someone tries to steal his next shipment out of his backpack. He chases the person down. He actually has a gun with him. He manages to get the backpack back, but he collapses in an alleyway, and that's when Mary arrives and takes him under his wing. It turns out that she's been sort of following him for the past few months. Anyway, Mary is actually under the ploy of another crime boss named Benny, played by Danny Glover, and Benny's son, who is his second in command, named Tom, and is also Mary's, basically they hint that she's an ex-girlfriend of his, but again, they don't really go too deep. Like, they hint that there's still sort of an attraction there, but unfortunately that's kind of where it ends. Mary tries to... Anyway, when Mary sort of intercedes in Danny's well-being, she winds up killing Uncle, who is the literal uncle of the head of the Russian, a branch of the Russian mafia there named Kozlov. And this could threaten a mob war between the two factions. Mary tries to throw everyone off her scent by sacrificing some guy named Walter, who was played by Neil McDonough, but like I said, he's only in there just briefly, and she kills him, and a few others kind of come across, and then, yeah, sorry, I know I'm getting a little confused. In the midst of that, the Russians launch a drive-by on Benny. Benny barely survives. And basically, Tom, to check on Mary's well-being, comes by her apartment and finds Danny there. And it's then that Mary tries to concoct this cover story. Tom basically tells Benny, Danny Glover's character, that, about Danny. And over this time, Tom slowly pieces together exactly who Danny is, but he doesn't tell Benny everything just yet. But Benny invites Mary and Danny over for a dinner on his wife's birthday. Benny's wife's birthday. Along the way, there's kind of a funny little montage where Mary is basically trying to buy Danny a suit because it's like, yeah, you gotta dress up for this. They try to have the characters bond. Unfortunately, like, Taraji P. Hansen is really good. Danny Glover is really good in this movie. Unfortunately, no one else is. The kid is boring. I mean, every time he talked, I kind of just felt myself sort of dozing off a little bit. Basically, the only thing that comes close to a running gag in this is that Danny swears and Mary tells him to watch his mouth. The end. Like I said, they try to brew up that there's some sort of romantic chemistry possibly between Tom and Mary, but again, I don't feel it in that. Unfortunately, that falls to the wayside. The next day after this party, Tom reveals to Mary that he's sort of pieced together Danny's identity, who Danny was, but he won't tell Benny just yet, as he and Mary have been put out on a hit on the Russians by Benny. They carry out the hit. In the midst of this, Mary gets shot, but she wards off getting any medical help and chooses to perform self-surgery. And, sorry about the blinking there, she performs self-surgery. She has to drink a lot of alcohol to do so. She doesn't quite spill everything to Danny, but she sort of says, like, we're never going to get... the idea is that she and Danny are trying to get out from the mafia and leave on their own terms, and that just... she sort of admits the defeatist point in that. As this is happening, Tom tells Benny about who Danny really is, to an extent. They don't know that he worked with the Russians at this point. I should just point that out. It's not revealed until a little bit later. But Danny tries to go after Benny with a gun. Benny explains who Mary is and what happened there, and that Mary killed Danny's father. It's then that Mary arrives and kills Benny. Just a sec here. Yeah, Mary arrives, kills Benny, because Benny basically said, like, no, I'm not going to let you go. You're still going to work for me, and you're going to train Danny to eventually work for me as well. And it's that point that, again, they try to escape one more time. Unfortunately, Danny gets kidnapped again and taken to Tom. And at this point, Mary just kind of goes on this one-woman army barrage through the whole thing, mowing down underlings. Eventually gets to Tom. She frees Danny. She kills Tom, and Danny and her finally manage to escape. And over the end credits, there's a joke because her car gets damaged in this, loses the door, and they kind of decide, like, they're just going to go someplace warm. And also, for a movie called Proud Mary, named after the song Proud Mary, we don't really get any renditions of it except for the climax of the film and the end credits. And in both cases, it's the Tina Turner version. The Tina Turner version is bad, mind you. It's a great version. But you could have, I would have had it played at least a couple more times. Maybe had a couple other versions of it. Like, they didn't even have, they could even been newer covers of it. But, yeah, just, that's a kind of minor nitpick out of everything. So, basically my thoughts overall on the film, strong performances from Hansen and Glover. Unfortunately, everything else just kind of goes a little bit by the numbers. Kind of a dead spot in the middle where, again, it's like they could have really built up to, I thought they could have maybe eliminated about 5 to 10 minutes of the film. I thought it would have been a little bit tighter into it. It gets a little bit repetitive with, Tom figuring out who Danny is, Tom explaining to Benny who Danny is, Tom explaining to Mary who Danny is, like, okay. It's like, some of that could have just been eliminated, and we could have pieced together, oh, Tom told his father at some point, and that's how Benny figured this out, or, oh, maybe, have Danny find out a little bit earlier that Mary's the woman who killed his father. All of that could have worked better. But overall, like I said, the action set pieces in this are really well done. There's a great soundtrack, strong performances from at least the two, I would say, principal leads. Unfortunately, the actor who plays the kid, the actor who plays Tom, it's just, they're pretty wooden and flat. So I am going to give Proud Mary, let's just give it a C+, because I did like it a little bit more than the Commuter, so I don't want to quite put it on that level. So yeah, we'll go with the C+.
Tuesday.
Is this gonna hurt?
Nah, piece of cake. You died, Ben, just like that. What?
The patients are dying.
Second lady today.
And Dr. Chandler thinks a nurse is to blame. But Dr. Cavanero has problems of her own.
What do I do now?
Delivering a baby over the phone.
Look, I'll talk you through it.
St. Elsewhere, Tuesday.
Okay, trailer time, and we actually did get some new trailers in here along with some repeats, but it's not too terrible at least. First off is Winchester, a a horror movie starring Helen Mirren. Looks kind of like a ghost movie in the vein of The Conjuring. It's not set in the Conjuring universe, but definitely kind of in that vein with paranormal debunkers and a gothic mansion and generations being haunted and everything of that nature. After that, we have Game Night, and then we have The Strangers, Prey of the Night. Wow, a sequel to The Strangers, a movie I haven't seen probably since it got released onto DVD. Were we really asking for a sequel to The Strangers? Like, I still even remember them announcing that a couple of years ago, and it's just coming out now. After that, we have 50 Shades Freed. Yep. After that, we have Annihilation again. For those of you who don't remember, that's the one with Natalie Portman and the mutating bubble of doom. And rounding things out, we have Red Sparrow again. Okay, so again, so far the plans are the next movie is going to be Den of Thieves. Still trying to get the scripting done on the Batgirl Destruction's Daughter review. Hopefully I won't have to delay it. Like I said, there's been so much going on here that it's hard to get everything done that you want to get done when you need to get it done. So, like I said, hopefully I won't have to delay it, but don't be surprised if I maybe have to push it back just a couple of days. See you all next time. Hey guys, is there a movie you want me to tackle? If it's some stinker like Baywatch or the Emoji Movie or something else? Check out my Patreon at Sleepy Time for Cat Productions. See how you can make that happen.